Welcome back. It's now time for Hot Picks. We're going to talk not only about gold, but platinum in this segment. Gold prices are up about 30%, but platinum, the white line on this screen, as you can see, has underperformed the price of gold. My next guest says both metals are undervalued, and her top picks are in the precious metal mining segment. We're joined now by Alissa Corcoran. She's Deputy Chief Investment Officer at Kopernik Global Investors. Alissa, thanks a lot for joining us. Excuse me. And I'm glad we have the opportunity to speak about platinum, because we don't speak about it, I think, as much as we should. As you can imagine, as a business news channel and an investing channel, we have spoken a lot in 2024 about the price of gold. Talk to us about platinum and why you view the metal as being undervalued, and what are some of the fundamental drivers of platinum?
Yeah, absolutely. We like gold. We think it's very undervalued relative to the amount of money that has been printed. But as you pointed out, it's up 30%. And platinum has traded at par, even a premium to gold at times. And yet today it's at a 60% discount. So we think that, and the supply and demand fundamentals are very positive and point to higher prices. For one thing, at these prices, and platinum and palladium come together, they're both below $1,000 an ounce. At these prices, mines are shuttering supply. No new mines are being built. M&A is off the table. New development is off the table. Employees are being cut at mining companies. So these prices can't go on forever, and yet the demand is stable, and these commodities have been in deficits for the last 2 years. So eventually the prices are going to have to rise to incentivize enough supply. Now, this could take, the timing is unknown, but when the prices should double for the commodity and should lead to much higher prices for the mining companies, we're willing to wait for those opportunities. And this is the time to buy commodities, is when the supply is and the prices are very depressed.
And what are some of the drivers of the platinum market? It used to be catalytic converters and automobiles used to be the big demand source. It was more an industrial metal than gold is, which is a financial asset.
Absolutely. So ICE vehicles are still part of the demand picture, and an important part of the demand picture. We don't believe they're going away anytime soon. And hybrids actually use the same amount of PGMs, platinum group metals, as ICE vehicles. So as the auto markets move to hybrids, there's still that demand. And meanwhile, a lot of people thought that EVs were going to take over, 70% of the market share were going to be EVs. We are seeing that that's not actually playing out, and EVs have actually lost market share this year. So we think that the demand on the industrial side is still very strong. And as you mentioned, these commodities have money characteristics. They share a lot of the money characteristics that gold is. They're actually more scarce than gold, and yet they're trading at a discount to gold. And so we believe that, if someone is looking to store their wealth, they could do that by paying $2,700 an ounce for gold, or they could buy platinum or palladium for less than $1,000 an ounce, and they still have that investment demand. It's interesting to point out that Costco is selling platinum bars and coins now, and then the Russian central bank is also buying platinum in addition to gold and silver. So we believe that investment demand will start to be reflected in the price as well.
I did not realize that Costco was selling platinum. I knew Costco was selling gold ingots. Okay, so your pick in platinum is Anglo American Platinum. We'll get to that in a couple of minutes. Here are the three picks from Alissa. Let's begin in sequence. The first one, very familiar to Canadian investors, Barrick Gold. Why do you like Barrick?
Barrick is one of the largest gold mining companies in the world. The price is down 3% over the last 5 years. Meanwhile, gold is up 80%. So we think that gap will eventually close. They have some of the best assets in the world. They have a very strong management team that they acquired through the Randgold acquisition, and they have a good balance sheet. So, and in addition, Mark Bristow, the CEO of Barrick, has $125 million of his own money in the stock. He's been buying the stock at these levels. So that's a very interesting, we love that sign. But as we like Barrick, we like the junior mining companies even more. And we can get to that with ITH is another one of our picks. Just
go
to put
ahead.
into perspective, go ahead.
Go ahead. International Tower Hill is ITH. Go ahead. That's your second
Yeah.
topic.
Just to put into perspective the love for producers and how the market is ignoring these non-producers. These are the companies that own a huge amount of gold but are not producing yet. Barrick has 10 times the number of ounces, but 300 times the market cap of International Tower Hill. So the market is basically saying if these companies aren't cash flowing, they're not worth anything. But we believe in the scarcity value. We believe that if something is valuable, it can eventually be monetized. So we often use with clients the example of the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa clearly has value. It doesn't produce cash flow, but you could monetize it at any time. So that's how we view these companies that have huge amounts of resources. A very valuable call option effectively is how they're being priced in the market today. And so there's a tremendous amount of operational and just leverage to the gold price in the stock price right now.
Okay, let's circle back to platinum and Anglo American Platinum.
Anglo is the largest platinum and palladium mining company in the world. They have the largest smelting and refining capacity. They have a very strong balance sheet. The company is down 75% from its peak in 2022. Again, for all the reasons that we believe that we went over for platinum and palladium, we think the commodity should rise at least to $2,000 an ounce, and then really they should be trading at least at par with gold. There's tremendous upside in the mining companies, and these platinum companies, Amplats has more than 100 years of production. So they have a lot of upside, and we're very excited about them.